Welcome to Messy Disciples. We're so glad that you're here. My name is Pastor Bob. This is Gio. And we're excited for you to be a part of the conversation. And that's what these are. These are just conversations that started because Zoom became a way of life. And we thought what we were talking about might be something that could help people along the way.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Messy Disciples. Thanks for joining us for another video in our Thanksgiving series. Today, Pastor Bob is going to bestow a little bit of really interesting knowledge about Thanksgiving. He and I were talking a little bit, and Pastor Bob has a penchant for history, and combined with his biblical knowledge has always got something interesting to talk. And he again piqued my interest and wanted to talk a little bit about the history of Thanksgiving. Pastor Bob, I'm bursting at the seams a little bit because I'm so excited to hear about this. So why don't you take it away? Jump us in.
Okay. One of the things that I like about Thanksgiving is how it really, as an American holiday, unites us to the biggest parts of our American story. For instance, in 1789, George Washington, he issued the first Thanksgiving proclamation. So right there at the beginning of American history, you have this tradition that's being established. And then after that, it was officially adopted as a holiday through Abraham Lincoln. And I just think that that's kind of cool. It's a very, it's a holiday that unites the American story together with the very first people who came over and colonized, which is the Pilgrims, and then it connects to our first president and his first address, and then it really it becomes a really big deal with Abraham Lincoln. And when I think of that, I think of the struggle that the Pilgrims went through and how thankful to God they were. I think of all of the trials that George Washington went through. I mean, this guy is the guy who basically got us into two wars, the French and Indian War, and the American Revolution. And so here's a guy who has a lot of troubles, but he recognizes the need to stop and give thanks. And then you have Abraham Lincoln, who was a president who was there during one of the most trying times in American history, in our own Civil War, and he says it's important to stop and give thanks. And so I think of that, and I think of our own American story right now, where we're coming off of a contested election, we're coming out of a pandemic, where we're coming out of a time of social unrest, and we still would do well to stop in the midst of all of that and do one of the greatest of American traditions, which is to stop and to give thanks to God for what he's given us in the midst of that.
Yeah, how cool. I did not know that the American tradition of Thanksgiving, which is a uniquely American holiday, has its roots in something that is so prevalent in the Bible, which is giving thanks. It's so appropriate, especially since considering it's Abraham Lincoln, and he represents the Civil War, the freedom of the slaves, and we're still battling with this topic today in everyday life, and how appropriate to bring that up and to mention again how times repeat themselves and how many times the Bible has shown these different things, and it leads me to believe that there might be some unique things that have evolved along the way on how people give thanks. In one of our previous videos, I mentioned a way that one of the traditions that I have in our family, where we go around the table and everybody, including the kids, big or small. I remember times we had babies there, they're thanking God for Elmo, and that's a wonderful thing, to stop and give thanks. And I wanted to ask you, Pastor Bob, what types of things do you do, and what have you seen or heard of traditions or ways that we can give thanks in both a religious and spiritual way, but also in an American way?
I want to read a quote. Is that okay? This is a quote from Abraham Lincoln. I think it's great.
Yeah, read it. Love it.
From 1863, he says, in his proclamation for Thanksgiving, he says, "Commend to his tender care all who have become widows, orphans, mourners, or sufferers in this lamentable civil strife, to heal the wounds of the nation, um, which is one of the traditions that my family had growing up. Is we always invited somebody to Thanksgiving who was not going to have Thanksgiving with a family or a group of people. So we always invited somebody who was going to not. And so it's a really fun and powerful thing. New people, when you invite new people into your home who wouldn't have had a Thanksgiving otherwise, it opens up the table. It creates a new atmosphere. There's new stories because that new person's going to bring stories. It makes your family bigger. Sometimes it makes the kids behave because there's a stranger there, and so sometimes it makes them act up more, and so it can be cause for a little bit of embarrassment. But when I was a kid, we always had a new person at Thanksgiving, and it wasn't always the same person. Sometimes it became the same person, for several years, but my mom had a penchant for like welcoming in waifs and strays, which, as her kids were a little bit better than waifs and strays anyway. So it probably just felt normal. But that's a tradition we had. Did you guys do the wishbone thing, Gio? Do you guys do that?
Tell me, maybe we do, but I don't know. What's the wishbone thing?
Okay, so you have the turkey. That's a tradition, right? You always have
Yeah.
the turkey, the yard bird. And then there's this bone in the turkey that joins together like this, and
Sure.
it's joined with a knot at the top. And there's this tradition of a wish granting, right?
Yep,
And so
yep.
you get another
We do this.
person, and you both pull on the wishbone, and whoever gets the bigger piece gets their wish granted.
Yep,
Do you guys do
absolutely.
that?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Do you know the trick for it?
Tell me, tell us.
Okay. This is going to be the trick. The trick is be the one who stays more still.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's the key. That's the key. I learned that when I was a kid.
I love it.
It took a lot of losing for me to learn that, but I learned it. Yeah.
One other thing too that you made me think of, that I actually tend to do before I eat anything, but maybe especially at Thanksgiving time. I always thank God for the plants and animals that died so that we could eat that meal. We as humans, we only experience life and death, in these staccato moments, but for a lot of things on this planet, they experience life and death over and over in, multitudes of ways. And some of it is at our hand. And so, especially in Thanksgiving, I always like to thank the plants and animals that are giving their lives so that we can enjoy this time and this meal. And it's amazing how God put all of this stuff here for us to do that with, and to bond us and bring us together. I mean, eating a meal is such an intimate thing for humans, and especially when Thanksgiving is pretty much centered around that meal. The importance of thanking God for the ability to even have those things, and those things gave, much like Jesus gave his life for us, the things that Jesus and God put on this earth for us, also giving their lives for us to have that. I don't know if that was too esoteric.
No, that was really cool. Actually, as you were talking about, how Jesus gave his life for us, which is really profound. And I'm not surprised at that. You're a
I'm glad
profound
to
dude.
participate.
But the turkey pardon.
The turkey pardon,
Yeah.
the presidential turkey pardon.
Right. And so,
Wow.
I mean, to pick up on your Jesus theme, I mean, like, there were two people with Pontius Pilate. There was Jesus, and there was Barabbas, and Barabbas got to go free, and then Jesus got crucified, died, and rose again. And so this one turkey goes free.
I thought you were going to say there were two people with Jesus Jesus and a turkey. I was like, whoa, hold on.
No. Barabbas was the turkey, right?
He was the turkey. He did have a turkey with him. That's great.
That's funny.
Well, everybody, we're so thankful to spend this time with you, and that you're spending this time with us. We hope that we have been able to enrich your holiday time, your spiritual knowledge, and most importantly, your lust to learn more and incorporate it into your life. So I'm going to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you all enjoy the time with your families and friends. And please send us in the comments below some of your Thanksgiving traditions, ways that you give thanks. I think would be a really wonderful way to share our thanks with the different things that we all do. So please leave those in the comments below, Pastor Bob.
Yep. And watch the Macy's Day Parade, because it's always a lot of fun. And God bless you guys. Be thankful for what God has given you in Christ, and enjoy some cranberry sauce. All right, guys. See you. Thanks for watching today. It's been a great conversation. We'd love for you to be a part of the conversation, so go ahead and click subscribe. And if you hit the notification bar, it'll let you know when new videos are coming out, which is really important because all of our videos are about new and current events that are happening. If you have any questions, go ahead and contact me via email. It's great to have you a part of the conversation. Thanks for joining us. Bye.